It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Hi, neighbor. Yeah, man, I just thought I'd sing that, man, to all of the haters out there, man. It's another beautiful day, man. It's another bright and sunny day out here in the ATL, man. And it's even brighter than it's supposed to be because, it's actually a rainy day, man. But it's bright to me because, I'm seeing in the Matrix right now, man, due to the fact that LeBron James, has resurrected the NBA once again. How many times must this guy continue to prove to the world that he is who he say he is? He is who all of the so-called basketball aficionados and all of the critics pretty much said that he was coming into the NBA as a rookie out of high school. A lot of people said he was this. A lot of people said he was that. LeBron James is going to be the new addition, the new breath of fresh air for the league. LeBron James is the chosen one. LeBron James is going to be the king of the NBA. And now he has lived up to every one of those expectations. And then you still have people sitting back in their armchairs hating on this man. Skip Bayless leading the charge, built his career off of LeBron James, managed to make millions of dollars, keep his show nice and crispy, making millions of dollars from ESPN, and then switched over to Fox and still making millions of dollars by hating on this guy. This is what he does. And then what he wants to do is he wants to try to act like he's sitting in the objective armchair and say, oh, well, I'm picking the Cavs to win. But all along, deep down inside, he really wants Boston to win so he can have more to sit back and hate on and save face, that he's not right about his picks. This is what these guys like to do. You can't have both, man. You need to ride with what you really feel. You really feel that, he shouldn't go, but he's gonna go. It didn't matter if Kyrie Irving was out there or Hayward, because now you have two additions to the game where Brad Stevens is going to be able, he was still going to run a 7-man rotation. He wasn't going to play. Marcus Smart probably wasn't even going to play, and Tatum would have barely came off the bench. You see what I'm saying? So if that, Tatum probably wouldn't even been in if you had Hayward and Kyrie, and then Marcus Smart was one of the guys returning from the previous season. Then you got Hayward, and then you got all the rest of these guys that's out there playing basketball. So one of these guys would have been out there, but not all of them. Maybe two, if that, and they would have been coming off the bench. So I'm just trying to understand where everybody's logic is. Oh, well, Kyrie would have hit 40. Kyrie would have did this. Oh, Hayward would have did that. You don't know what would have happened, but at the end of the day, it would have still, to me, ended up being the same exact thing. Going 7 games and it being decided in a game 7, and LeBron James would have found a way to win. Because you don't have a guy on that team that could truly guard LeBron James. And that's what I've been trying to tell people for the longest. They pick, I ask people to pick every season before the season even starts. Who do you have? Who is your final four for the conference finals on both sides? Who's going to be your guys? Who's going to be your 2 for this side? Who's going to be your 2 for that side? I asked for the East. Everybody had Boston. And that was before Kyrie went to Boston. Okay? So everybody had Boston. And then guys started running after Washington. And then they went with Toronto, and so forth. We can go on and on and on. They was even pulling for the 76ers to go to the NBA Finals. A lot of these armchair NBA aficionados, all of these guys, these analysts, all these people picking the Philadelphia 76ers that go to the finals. Man, come on, man. Nobody picking the 76ers to go to the finals if you know basketball. These guys got 2 guys over there, man. And then they sat down the other one that's been so-called struggling with his shoulder and his shot for the whole season. You ain't even see this dude play basketball too much this season. So I mean, how are they gonna penetrate all the way to the NBA Finals with two guys? Then you say Boston, then they say, oh, well, these guys play team ball. They this, they that. Yeah, they play team ball, but you don't have anybody to defer to after Kyrie Irving gets injured, gets hurt. You don't have anybody to defer to be able to isolate and move off the dribble the way that Kyrie Irving does. So now let's just say Kyrie Irving is back out there. He actually makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's playing with no injuries. Now you do have a guy that you can defer to, who you can isolate with, and you still gonna have a guy that's being double teamed and trapped, who's not an excellent passer, who doesn't make great decisions with the basketball when it comes down to setting up plays and setting guys up. That's not to say that he can't pass the basketball. He's just not a great passer. He's just not a good decision maker. So at the end of the day, you still would have accounted for, 30, maybe 40 points for Kyrie. You would have probably gave Hayward, if he was playing and he could get open and he could get his shots or what have you, he would have probably averaged maybe about 20 to 25. So you're talking if you give a guy 40 points, that's if he could average that, and we know he ain't gonna average 40, but if he could, let's just give him 40. And then you give Hayward 25. So we talking, 50, 60. That's 65 points right there. So where are you going to get your additional, maybe 20 to 30 plus points, to decide an Eastern Conference final score? Where are you going to get it? Okay, so now you got to hope that Tatum was going to get burned throughout the season if he was even playing, or Marcus Smart was going to come up with it. Oh, let me guess. You guys going to go with Al Horford, who's the 14-point, 16-point king. So okay, let's give him 16 points. So now you add that on to your 60, 65 I just said. So we talking 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, so now you got about, 81 points out there. So most of these games are going to be decided between the 80s and the 100s, in today's NBA. So let's give them 80, 81 points. Okay. So now you're asking, for 90, I would say 90, 100, 20 additional points if you're going to run it up to 100 points. But like I said, between 80, to 100, that's what's going to decide it. So you tell me, how much more different would the game have looked if Tatum was coming off the bench along with Marcus Smart? I know they probably would have played Brown regardless because of his height, or Tatum, one of the two. And then, you got two guys that's coming off the bench. So now you got Kyrie, you got Hayward, you got Kyrie, Hayward, you got Horford, you got their center, and then you're going to run with who else you going to put out there? You see what I'm saying? So you either go with Tatum, who's going to be your number two, or you're going to roll with Marcus Smart, who was there the year before Tatum. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not seeing where it would have really been any difference, with either of those guys playing. It would have been, I wouldn't say I don't see a difference. I just don't see a major difference. The score may have been 15 points better, 10 points better, could have been 20 points better. No more than that. And you still would have had to find somebody on the court that could overcome LeBron James. And you just didn't have it. Okay? You still don't have it on that team. You still don't have a guy that's going to be truly committed enough to stop LeBron James. So how are you going to win the series if you don't have anybody to body this guy? You just didn't have it. Hayward is not a good defender. Kyrie is not a good defender. Marcus Smart, you saw what happened to him. And Tatum, you saw what happened to him. So who did you truly have to guard this guy? Okay? Then you would have had to still dig up the bum Kevin Love, and put him out there if he wouldn't have got hurt. And let's say he would have been added to the series along with these guys. Now you got to account for him, and then you still got to open LeBron James, or you got a LeBron James who's still dishing dimes and still driving in the lane and still creating for the team. Nobody on Boston can create like that. Nobody. So I'm just tired of talking, man. Tired of talking. Get a man his respect. Give him his just due. He's LeBron goddamn James. Plain and simple. He's a monster. He's a beast. The dude is the soul controller in the NBA. And y'all, you just want to continue to sit and find something to strip this man apart for. And the man has done everything that's been asked of him to do since entering the NBA, and has been carrying the league for the last 15 seasons now. Carrying the league. People were watching. Kobe was on his way out. He was grabbing his last and final rings, and LeBron James was on the way up. We saw a few matchups between him and Kobe, throughout his rookie season. You know what I'm saying? And then you see Kobe on his way out. And that's what everybody was mad about, the fact that LeBron James came in with all his prestige, getting ready to eclipse Kobe Bryant. And the dude should have been ready and willing to pass the torch on his way out, and he still didn't do it on his way out. You know what I'm saying? Now watch, when LeBron James get ready to retire, he gonna pass the torch, because that's what champions do. That's what kings do. That's what the realest guys do. They willing to pick somebody and say, this guy is gonna be the one to carry the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Who else are you gonna watch when this dude is gone? KD? This dude ain't, man, come on. KD can't carry no squad. That's why he ran over to Golden State, so he wouldn't have no pressure on his back, which I don't blame the guy. You don't want to be, a lot of people on your job don't want to be the supervisor. They don't want to be the CEO. They want to play in the shadows, and they want to sit back in the back and complain about what the guys in positions of responsibility have to deal with. That's what they want to do. They don't want to own up to, being responsible for people's paychecks and being responsible for the stuff that people are doing wrong, or firing people or hiring people. They don't want to deal with that type of stuff. They want you to do it so they can sit back and talk about you for what you can't do. You know what I'm saying? He one of them. He just an employee. He don't want to be a guy to be in a position of responsibility. He doesn't want that. He wants to act like he's reliable. He ain't reliable. He going over to join these guys. And you can't blame him. Some people just good at being a regular worker. And he just good at being a regular worker, in my opinion. So, I can go on and on and on. This video is too long. But I want y'all to stop hating on this dude and get this man his just due. I asked these guys about the West Coast, who you got? And everybody quickly came up with Golden State and the Rockets. Everybody already knew it was going to be them. And the Rockets don't have enough. Even with Chris Paul, it's been a good matchup. I knew it was going to be. We all knew, well, not all of us, but I knew it was going to boil down to a Game 7. I already knew this. It didn't look like it was going to be, but it turned out to be, because we just wasn't expecting D'Antoni to really be able to make some adjustments, after watching him with Phoenix, watching him with the Knicks, but I didn't even count the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan and I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. So I knew what he could do, but I didn't know that he could do what he did, as far as the guy has learned his lesson. Over the years, and he's learned how to come up with some game plans, and he got a real point guard in Chris Paul. So, and he had one with Steve Nash. It's just that Steve Nash just didn't have the pieces around him the way that Chris Paul does, especially having a number two, and somebody like James Harden, who can finish and knock down shots and do all of these great things with the basketball. He didn't have that in Phoenix. He had a couple. He had what LeBron has in Cleveland right now. He had a Rajah Bell, and he had the Matrix. After a while, Matrix wasn't doing nothing. Then he had Mari Stoudemire, who was like the Shaq of the team, but he couldn't really do nothing more than catch and dunk, catch a lob, and move off the pick and roll. Yeah, and we saw what Tim Duncan did to him, in the conference final, some years back. Or I would say some years back. San Antonio moved on to dominate. But I'm just saying, man, You wasn't good. You wasn't expecting nothing much out of this season on the West Coast. Everybody keeps saying how deep the West is when you already know that all of these teams gonna cancel each other out at some point anyway. They're gonna cancel each other out. So how can you say that they stack? When you know it's gonna boil down to the last four teams, and who are you gonna have in your top four? It was gonna be Golden State and Houston. OKC was not a complete team. You already know Russell Westbrook need to move over to the two. So until that happens, they're not going to be a team to be victorious. Hence why KD left. You know what I'm saying? So I understand his pain. But the rest of these guys, Utah and Minnesota, they up and coming. Minnesota is probably not going to make it. They're going to have to split that team up. Karl Anthony Towns is already saying that he ain't happy in that place. They got to come to an agreement to keep him over there. You know what I'm saying? So, who else are you going to pick to dominate in the West outside of the same ones? All Chris Paul did was move from the Clippers to Houston, and if he would have stayed with the Clippers, we would have still been talking about the Clippers. So we wouldn't have been talking about Houston. Houston would have been there, but we probably would have said, they're going to be the fifth or the sixth seed. Plain and simple. I mean, nobody else in the West was going to do anything. The Pelicans wasn't going to do anything, even with DeMarcus Cousins. Wasn't going to do anything. Okay? What was they going to do? Who was they going to beat? They make it out of the first round, go to the second round. Who you beating? Nobody. We saw what happened. You're not going to beat anybody. So, Portland. Two guys. You got two guys. Same problem that they got in Toronto. Two guys. At the smaller positions. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. Two guys. Two guys are shooting. One guy can drive, but, you saw what happened. They clamped him up, and then that's the end of the game right there. That's the end of the game. Two guys. So what's really happening? What's really popping in the West? What's really popping in the West, man? Nothing. What's really popping in the East? Nothing. It's even on both sides. And it's going to be the same teams as long as some of these same people are on those teams in the conference finals again. LeBron James lead there. He goes somewhere else. That team is a guaranteed shoo-in for the playoffs, if not going to the finals again. You already know that. You already seen what this guy is capable of multiple times. Everywhere he go, he manages to get to the damn NBA finals with whatever roster that they put out there for him. Same thing it was when he was first in Cleveland. Then he left and he goes to Miami. Same thing with them. For what? 3 seasons. With them, with whatever roster they put out there. Then he go back home, and then he got a whatever roster, multiple times. And he still finds a way to make these guys relevant. J.R. Smith is a bum. Kevin Love is a bum. Okay? Larry Nance and these guys, they gotta learn how to play basketball. They learn how to play basketball this season underneath this guy. They're going to thank him later on in their career because they ain't going to never, ever be able to get that far. You know what I'm saying? Without having somebody to lead them the way that they saw this guy lead. You see what I'm saying? In a short amount of time, he was able to make that happen. Stop hating on this guy. Anyway, man, I can go on and on and on about basketball. That's the longest video I done made in quite some time. But I had to let y'all know the man is a damn beast. LeBron, the GOAT James. Peace.